46 seconds of logos. Reading. Also, these movies keep bringing up this point without explaining why translatability is even relevant. This makes me so mad. Listen, if Frank Miller is correct, and for the sake of argument, I'm going with yes, a man without hope is a man without fear. Therefore, because of the transitive property of sin quality, that would mean a man without fear is a man with considerable Sisu. So, for want of an actual translation, I think the AP Style Guide would be more than content with an image of a no fear t-shirt from the 90s.
The war.
Narration.
420,000 Finns had to leave their homes. Most of them would never see home again.
Home is where the heart is, deniers. Putting someone's old-timey, definitely not waterproof passport in a puddle. Teasing a through line to Don Quixote, then not making it a thing. Chapter 1, Mi Casa es Sisu Casa, was right there. Also, just like the first movie, there are 7 chapters. But unlike the first movie, I will send them all individually. Jorma Tommila is giving a masterclass in acting right now. Not a single line of dialogue is spoken, yet our hearts hear every word. Touching a table like this without enthusiastic consent. Character remembers that his kids were a certain height at a certain time, and that makes him sad, cliche. Also, these dates are all over the place. We have differences of 5 months, 1 year, 13 months, and 16 months. Either mark their height annually on their birthday, or at least tell the set designer not to use a random number generator. Symbolic picture is broken to symbolize being broken symbolically, cliche.
Yegor Dragunov, several missions behind the enemy lines. Your team burned down entire villages.
Boring this poor guy by making him listen to a bunch of exposition that is clearly for the audience. Also, choosing to do this in the freezing rain instead of your office, because you want to create a dramatic shot also for the audience. Also, dragging Richard Brake into this mess and not giving his character a name.
We chopped them into little pieces. With a shovel.
Does he need to be reminded that he's evil?
This killing machine entered Soviet Union 10 hours ago. I'm sending you to clean up your mess.
This whole movie is just a thought experiment to see if it takes a bad guy with a gun to stop a good guy with a house. Also, their motivation for sending Comrade Murder Boner after him is super thin. It's apparently 1 part hating legends and 1 part getting revenge on a guy who, to be fair, was getting revenge after his family was murdered. Also, if they want him dead this badly, I'm not sure why they let him cross the border in the first place. Writing on lumber, carrying lumber, chaining lumber. Yanis? Being sentimental about the table, but saying "f*** you" to this bench. This sign in the Russian part of Finland is neither in Cyrillic nor in Finnish. Chapter 2, Friends with Death Benefits, was right there. This man learned nothing from the first movie about avoiding roads.
That is all that is left from his life before.
Best kill him then. Wouldn't want him building a house now, would we? Lighting a Molotov cocktail in front of the legendary killing machine and then being surprised that he kills you as the legend would suggest. Also, why did he get so close to the truck with it? Was that idiot going to use a Molotov cocktail as a melee weapon? As much as I wish this could happen. A truck built for torque and this loaded with timber would never do a burnout so epic that it launches a human like an Olympic javelin. This guy is kidnapped purely because he'd rather be pulled into a close quarters fight with a legendary killer than let go of his favorite rifle. Worse still, he's then forced to be a gun caddy to the man who so aggressively humbled him. The sin is that I'm embarrassed for him. Carrying around an unloaded rifle while on duty and while having rounds on your person. The 2 guys on the left go down first, and Aatami eventually comes around from the right side of the truck. So the fact that we never hear return fire means this guy on the right just stood here doing nothing, despite at some point or another seeing Aatami shoot his buddies.
Keep very still.
Thinking the Finnish Highlander has the same weakness as the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, Aatami could end this here, but he just doesn't.
I told you to keep still.
The Finnish Highlander ends up having the same weakness as the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Also, it sure is nice of the dead guy to move his head and arm to make pulling him out of the vehicle easier. These guys show up for no reason other than the movie needing more faceless bodies for the offering. Chapter 3, Mad Aatami Beyond Furio Sisu's Thunder Road Dome was right there. Wasting 3 bullets on a clearly bulletproof helmet. Just like in the last video, we will be suspending the he survives this sin since that's the whole point. However, dude just took buckshot to the face from even an immortal badass should be missing half his head distance away. So I'm sitting that. Where are these 2 idiots going? Being the type of asshole who honks after you've already run over and decapitated your comrade. It's like this that leads me to believe Aatami made a deal with death, where in exchange for immortality, he'll kill a bunch of people in over-the-top Final Destination style ways. And if that deal isn't revealed through flashback in the next movie, I will be shocked. After getting the upper hand, this guy could have hit the brakes or just repeatedly kicked Aatami in the balls until he fell out of the truck. Instead, he chooses to drive steadily and at a consistent speed. When people shift on a manual without depressing the clutch, it really grinds my gears. Russians always having Molotov cocktails at the ready has become a stereotype in this movie, which is weird, since the Finns were the ones who showed the world how this weapon could shine during the Winter War.
Unleash hell.
Michael Bay is gonna sue somebody. Opening a hot radiator like this, immortal or not, you risk burning your face off pouring water into and onto a hot radiator. Do you want a cracked radiator? Because that's how you get a cracked radiator. Chapter 4, Dr. Sisu Love, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying About Logic and Love This Movie, was right there. This barn is open and empty. In a movie without such conveniences, our hero would have just taken out a cow. All these bullets just immediately give up once they hit the top of this barn. Cool shot, but the Ilyushin Il-2 Stormovik was not designed as or used as a dive bomber during World War II. Holy f***, this shot is awesome! Is what I would shout if it hadn't taken 5 different cuts to show it to me. As he escapes into the forest, I have to ask, is it his Sisu, or do these guys just suck at their jobs? Discuss. This is some Space Wars physics, and it is not how planes work. I'm not an aeronautics expert, but I feel confident saying this plane cannot fly as slowly as this truck is going without falling out of the sky. Movie set up that one guy who was freed from prison as the person who was supposed to kill him at all costs, but the rest of these soldiers and pilots get in on the fun with complete disregard for their lives, and their reasoning is non-existent. This particular Russian plane did not have an ejection seat. Movie increasingly feels like what you'd end up with if someone pitched a Roadrunner movie but neglected to tell anyone that it's a cartoon. Choosing to shoot from this position is like having sex with your socks on. It communicates a severe lack of commitment. Not explained here is why this gun only had 3 bullets, while all the guns available at the time that looked like this carried either 7 or 8 rounds. Holy f***, this shot is awesome! What? This time I mean it. I'm more worried about the house than I am about Aatami and his dog. And that is a weird emotional place to take your viewers. Not saying that he shouldn't survive swimming back down to get his lumber, but at a certain point, the lack of consequences begins to make the audience numb. Sure, this dog is cute, but remember, he's a Nazi lover.
You stubborn motherfucker. Still heading home to Finland, aren't you?
Saying this as if there's somewhere else he would be trying to go at this point. Serendipitous abandoned tank is serendipitous, and it works! Chapter 5, Low Chance of Sea Success, was right there! In case you confused it with a Soviet ice cream parlor. But also assuming that Aatami will cross the border here instead of at any other point along the roughly 830-mile border. Also, Aatami chooses to cross right here instead of any other point along the roughly 830-mile border.
Took you long enough.
It has just dawned on me that most of Yegor's dialogue sounds like it was sourced from someone's nagging wife. For the amount of bullets being fired, one would expect to see more wood splintering. I'm questioning how cutting the fuel line doesn't just stop fuel from getting into the engine. I'm going to need corroborating evidence that any person can blow fuel into an engine more effectively than a fuel pump. The fuse burned exactly long enough so it set off this explosion at the exact moment the explosion is needed to do some bullshit. Hell yeah! But also, no. By all indications, this attempt to cross the finish line worked exactly as planned. And after seeing it happen in the aftermath, I have no idea why that was ever the plan. Is this supposed to represent the hubris of someone who no longer views death as a viable consequence? Or did they have an idea for a stunt before they had a story and the story just never caught up? Soviet brass shows up on cue as if they always send up flaming tanks whenever a mission is accomplished.
We want him alive.
Not saying this before the several hundred attempts to kill him.
There's no place like home.
Wizard of Oz non sequiturs. Boot to the head is the same as a tranquilizer cliche. The on-screen text defining Sisu at the beginning didn't include the part about God hating you.
I have killed so many women and children.
Vanity.
It's stuck in my mind like it was important.
To the plot?
The logs of your house will be railroad ties.
Choosing this guy to be involved in developing infrastructure was an odd choice. Discount Daniel Craig playing scissors on the first round like a chump. I've never seen a man retrieve a knife from inside his leg before, and I wish to never see it again.
Everything okay?
This works. Movie rushes past the fact that he tore this guy in half and then puppeted him like a ventriloquist. Chapter 7, Revenge of the Nords, was right there.
If you give me what I got coming to me, I would like to be on my way.
But where would he go? He's on a moving train. Like, I'm not even making a joke here. I'm legitimately confused. Convenient open crate of callback to the first film weapons is convenient. Wait, I thought the train ties thing was a joke, but they brought his house on the train. What the f*** was going on with lumber in 1946 that made this necessary? This train car is exactly like the previous level, but with harder difficulty. Aatami doesn't stab this guy out of spite. First movie was John Wick, and so far this one is Mad Max with a side of Die Hard. Honestly, I don't hate it. Still gets a sin though. He rolls over and impales himself on the glass and then puts his hand in a finger trap because God in this universe is Kevin McAllister. After he locks the door, it's like he has hit a video game checkpoint because the guys in the previous car just stopped pursuing. Main character survived bullet by hiding behind dead bodies cliche. These guys don't catch a single stray bullet from the 2 machine guns firing right behind them. These generals don't have enough character development energy points to hear the commotion, choosing to practice hurdles in the middle of a gun battle. This guy being bald underneath his helmet took me right out of the movie. Man's got a helmet-shaped head. This guy doesn't react even a little bit to the man sitting beside him being shot in the head. Least impressive briefcase full of cash ever. I know his character's whole thing is not talking, but we all would have forgiven him if he was humming the Back to the Future theme right before saying, "Where we're going, we don't need roads." I mean, hell yeah! But it's insulting that neither one of them takes a moment to appreciate what just happened. Also, this fucking guy is made of adamantium, and the movie won't just admit it. Spoon gag is funny, but I feel like he gave up here. I have it on good authority that you can cut someone's heart out with one of those.
Was that your revenge? I expected something legendary.
Acting like the shit he did with that rocket to catch up to you, fly through several closed doors, and tackle your ass wasn't legendary.
Any last words? Spit it out!
There's no reason for this not to be in his mouth unless he sucked it off the bolt. Did he suck it off the bolt? Jaeger went to the Prometheus school of getting broken arrowed. But like really slowly. Aatami stops the train car as if he knew the missile was going to slowly kill Jaeger. But there was no way for him to know that for a fact. The only reason this happens is that the script suddenly thought he needed to be at a safe distance from the explosion. When in reality, all the Sisu coursing through his veins wouldn't have let him stop until he killed Jaeger with his bare hands. And after everything we've seen in this movie, Aatami surviving being right in the center of this explosion would have been the most logical choice. As if in response to Jaeger's premature relaxation, the rocket activates stage 2. And definitely in response to that, I must activate the ding. This passport's plot armor. Final chapter, flip it or list it, was right there. He looks visibly alarmed, but none of these guys who have to be aware of his reputation by now thinks it's prudent to defuse the situation with a simple, "Hey man, we're just here to help with the house. Sorry, we're all walking up with scowls and brandishing our tools like weapons. Some director told us to do it this way." Offering help at the easiest part of the movie like an asshole. We have no proof that the dog's house also survived this.
Complete teardown, and he wanted to build his family's home.
And became a legend. Cliché.
The Pickle Man.
This one is a crafty old motherfucker.
He's doing your mom?
Keep very still.
This vision's based on movement.
Talk to me!
We ain't found Santa rolling down the block in a Panzer.
You are a mistake, an aberration.
Which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision.
To Jaeger.
Jaeger bombs for everybody!
No!
I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't.
Hey, what about Major Kong?
No! Harry, no! Don't look at the light! I can't help it. It's so beautiful. Physics, eh?